Hello all, I'm Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. This is going to be a series reading vlog, as I'm sure you've already seen from the title. I was planning on participating in the May round of the Final Book Support Group, which is hosted by Steph over at Steph Loves. However, that readathon was taking place the last week of school and things were just very busy. So I did not have a chance to do any series reading. So instead, I'm going to kind of do my own Final Book Support Group readathon, in that I'm going to be reading 3 series books in this vlog. So the first one that I'm going to be reading is the 7th Wayward Children book, which is Where the Drowned Girls Go. This is, of course, by Seanan McGuire. I have a goal to finish what has been published in this series in 2025 so that I am ready for subsequent releases. So that will be the first book. I will also be reading the 41st Nancy Drew book by Carolyn Keene, which is The Clue of the Whistling Bagpipes. That one is set in Scotland. So Nancy, Bess, George, and Nancy's father go to Scotland for some reason, something to do with Nancy's great-grandmother, I don't remember, something like that. And they're gonna solve a mystery while they're there, of course. And then the final book that I will be reading in this vlog is going to be The King of Attolia by Megan Wayland Turner, which is the 3rd book in the Queen's Thief series. So that's what you're gonna see. Now, all 3 of these could technically be read as interconnected standalones, which is why I feel okay putting them in a vlog. I don't think that I'm going to be spoiling much of anything, but I personally do recommend reading at least Wayward Children and the Queen's Thief series in order. So I'll talk about that more as we go into the vlog, but the Nancy Drews can definitely just be read in whatever order you want. So that is what you're going to see in this vlog. I will bring you along. Steph always makes a bingo board with her readathons. I'm not going to be following any kind of bingo board. My goal is just going to be to read those 3 books and make progress on series. So that's what you're going to see. Let's go ahead and get into it. Hello all, I have some reading updates to share. So first of all, I have finished Where the Drowned Girls Go, which, as I've already mentioned, is the 7th Wayward Children book. In this one, we are following Cora. We meet Cora in the 3rd book, and she shows up again in the 5th book. So that's who we're following. Cora is having a very hard time dealing with the aftermath of what happens to her in the 5th book, and so she asks to be transferred to the other school that handles children who go through portals, and that is the Whitethorn Academy or Whitethorn Institute, and that's kind of the setup for this. So these are interconnected standalones. So technically you can read each of these books individually, but it definitely gives you a better overall picture if you read them in order. And I liked this one, but I didn't love it. I am still giving it 4 stars because I still thought it was good. I also liked that it seemed to kind of introduce like some trouble, if you will, into like the overall scheme of the world. And I'm curious to see if we are going to get any follow-up to that and any more backstory or things like that. So I did like that it added some conflict to the overall like arch of the series, but it wasn't my favorite, mostly because I don't think Cora is my favorite. I definitely have characters that I have liked more. I also tend to like the individual deep dives more than I tend to like stories like this, which are more about the overall series as a whole. My favorite is still the 4th book, which is In an Absent Dream. That one was still my favorite, but I did like Come Tumbling Down as well, because I did feel like that was also more of like a deep character dive type story. So that's kind of where I am with these. But yes, this one is done, 4 stars, very quick and easy read. The audiobook, if you listen to it, is like an hour and a half or whatever. So very, very quick read. I read this over the course of a couple days and it is done. So I am ready for the 8th book. So I will be reading that one probably next month. And I don't remember who that one's about or anything like that, but there are 10 currently published in this series. So I will finish those 10 this year because my goal is to be ready for when she releases each subsequent release at this point. So the 11th one was announced that not that long ago. It comes out in January, but I'll be ready for it once I have read the last 3 books that have been published. So anyway, that was an aside. It was fine, 4 stars. Worth reading, just wasn't my favorite of the series. I also have started the 41st Nancy Drew book. I'm like 70% of the way through that, so I will be finishing that one today. In this one, we are following Nancy, Bess, and George and Nancy's father as they travel to Scotland to help Nancy's great-grandmother, who apparently Nancy's mother is Scottish, who knew, and with like a mystery that's going on with like a missing heirloom. Nancy also has like a side mystery that she wants to solve of like missing lambs and sheep that are going missing from shepherds' flocks. And of course it's all gonna come together in some kind of way. But this one started with a bang, literally, because 2 chapters in, Nancy's car had already been rammed and somebody had put a bomb in her mailbox. So this one got off to a rip-roaring start, and the danger has kind of kept pace as the story has gone on. She has had a lot of other incidents happen, so it's been kind of a comical time. And sorry if you can hear the thunder because it is storming outside, but we're gonna push through. So yeah, that one is fine. It's funny. I am pretty sure we're about to get some answers to some stuff because I am at like 72%. So that one will be done within the next few hours, probably like 30-35 minutes total, but I will come back and talk with you once I've fully finished that one and let you know my rating. But I did also start listening to The King of Atolia by Megan Whalen Turner. I should say, actually, I started reading this one because I could not sleep last night. So I read like the first like 56 pages, and then I listened to a bit more on audio today. So I'm currently on page 108. So right here. This one has some short stories and things, a short story at the end. It also has like the next part of the next book. So this book actually has 375 pages in it. Like this is all extra stuff, but this is the first book in this series that I'm reading this year that is a new to me read. So I had read book 1, which is The Thief, and book 2, which is The Queen of Atolia, before. I did reread them this year because I do want to finish the series this year. And this one is The King of Atolia. This is another one where technically I guess you could read them as like interconnected standalones because the first 2 are narrated by the same point of view, but this one has a new point of view. So we are being told the story of Costas, and he is the POV for the most part. There are some like little anecdotes between the king and the queen as well, like interspersed in this book, but Costas is the main like narrator here, and it's him talking about his opinion of the king, which is kind of interesting because it's very clear that he does not know the king at all. We meet the king in the first 2 books, so as a reader, we know a lot more about him as a character than Costas does in this book. So it's just kind of funny, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. There's a lot of like court intrigue happening in this one, a lot of like political stuff going on. So it's definitely more of that type of fantasy, but I'm having a good time with it. The chapters in this book are huge though. Like they are very, very long chapters. So that's why I kind of stopped in the middle of a chapter, because the chapter itself was like 50 pages long. So I took a little bit of a break. I will get back to reading this though. I'm looking forward to it and I'm enjoying it so far. So there you go. Those are my reading updates for these 2 and Nancy Drew right here. And I will let you know again once I finish Nancy Drew what my thoughts are on that. And I will come back and chat with you about this one once I get to like the 50% mark, because right now I think I'm at like 26% or something like that. So once I get to 50%, you will hear another update from me on this one, but I am enjoying the start of it and I'm curious to see where it's going. reading update time. I have actually finished The King of Attolia, so apologies for not coming back and chatting with you at like the halfway point. This book was compulsively readable. I really, really liked this one. I'm giving it 4 stars. We are following Eugenides, who goes by Jen, with his like close friends. Jen is a thief, and in the first book, he is brought along on a quest to locate an ancient artifact in like an abandoned temple in the kingdom of Attolia. Okay, so and then his story kind of takes off from there. There's some twists and turns with who Jen is, what he's actually doing, things like that. You get to know him very, very well as a character in the first and second book. So by the point of this book, the reader is very aware of who Jen is and what he is capable of and the sort of tricks and things that he has up his sleeve a lot. Whereas the narrator of this book, whose name is Costas, does not know him at all and spends a lot of the book underestimating him. And it's just kind of really funny to read from someone's point of view who doesn't know the character as well as the reader does. So while these are touted as like interconnected standalones, I highly recommend reading them in order because it does give you a better idea of who all of the characters are and things that they've done in the past and things like that. So I really, really liked this one. I gave it 4 stars. It was a really quick read. I actually read the bulk of this physically, which kind of speaks to how much I liked it because physical reading does not always come super easy for me. But yeah, I really, really liked this one. So I highly recommend this series. This one had a lot of kind of political things going on in the background, but it really is just focused on Costas and his opinion of Eugenides as the book goes on and how that opinion starts to shift and change as he sort of figures out exactly who Jen is. So anyway, I really, really liked this one. Would highly recommend the series. So that is going to conclude this series reading vlog. So I gave 4 stars to the 7th Wayward Children book, Where the Drowned Girls Go. I don't have that one anymore. I had to turn it into the library. I gave 3 stars to The Clue of the Whistling Bagpipes. And now 4 stars for The King of Attolia. So pretty good reading week. Managed to do some series reading. I did not get to Dark Corners by Megan Golden. I was hoping that I would be able to read that one as well, but that just didn't work with other things that I had going on. So as you saw, I had a little clip of some kittens romping around. My brother is rehabbing a house and has been for a while, and there is a calico cat that kind of frequents the backyard, and she had kittens, and those are 2 of her kittens. So I spent the day in the backyard kind of just watching them romp around while I did a little bit of reading. Ideally, I would love to be able to get my hands on those kittens and have them so that they are not living as strays, but I haven't seen them since I took that video. So I know they're around somewhere, but I personally haven't seen them. So obviously I've not been able to actually get them. So I'm really hoping that they are still kind of romping around there and I will stumble upon them. I've been going over and putting out cat food for them, which has been getting eaten, whether it's by cats or possums or whatever, I don't know. But I'm hoping that those kittens are still somewhere around. They still look young enough where I think I could get them and tame them. But yeah, I will keep you apprised. I haven't seen them in a few days though, so I'm a little concerned about not being able to find them. But yes, that is why that little clip was there. They are very, very cute, as I'm sure you saw. But yeah, really good reading week, and my next vlog will be my buzzword vlog, so you can stay tuned for that. Hopefully I will have some news on the kittens in that vlog, and otherwise that's all I have for you. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. If you made it to the end of this video and would like to leave an emoji to show that you were here, you can leave me a crown emoji in honor of Eugenides. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.